I think it was a terrible decision. That's why Donald Trump did not even bother to sell it.
Yeah.
In our previous episodes, we've talked about, Donald Trump is not the first United States president who started a war. He's not the first. He's like every United States president has to start a war. It feels like it's a tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the difference between all these other presidents, the difference between the Bush for Iraq, Obama for Libya, Joe Biden for Ukraine, is that Donald Trump did not even bother to convince the American people that this war was necessary. He did not take the time. It is like he put the cart before the horse.
Mm-hmm.
I expected that this was going. It was not never going to work. George Bush formed a coalition to attack Iraq. I mean, there was no justification for an attack to Iraq, right? But at least he managed to form a coalition of his
allies,
if you want. But me, I call them his from Europe and other parts of the world. Obama, when he went into Libya, had his NATO allies and other European states. He was able to convince them, or they were able to convince each other, that the war was necessary or that they needed to attack. Joe Biden, when the Ukraine war started, he somewhat formed a coalition with the Europeans to defend Ukraine, right? Donald Trump did not bother to do that. He did not bother to sell the war to the American people. He did not bother to sell the war to the rest of the world. And now that he's stuck, he's trying now to bring the rest of the world to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's a failure. No country would want to taint themselves with this. If he was able to sell the war before it happened, they would have already been in, just like they were in when they got into Iraq. I mean, things got rough and got bad, but they had bought the war and they were there. They could not abscond or could not leave, right? But this time around, it's like you said, water the tea for up or whatever, right? And then you expect them to drink. No, they are not going to drink. It's dirty, right? So that's the point I wanted to make. Like, Trump did not bother to sell the war. Now he's calling on his allies to join. Nobody wants to get involved in this. Nobody wants to. Not the United Kingdom, not China. I mean, it's absurd that Donald Trump would think that China would come to rescue him. Impossible. There's no way China is ever going to do that. China is never going to come to the rescue of Donald Trump. Maybe they could come to the rescue of the United States, but not while Donald Trump is in power. They have a terrible relationship.
Right.
South Korea is not willing to do this. First of all, you've taken all their air defense missiles. They're upset with Trump about that fact, that when things got rough in Israel, he went and pulled out air defense missiles from South Korea. Now South Korea is vulnerable to attacks from maybe North Korea or Japan or whoever. And then you expect them to come to your rescue. They are not. Donald Trump is going to take the responsibility of this failure, and he's going to handle this responsibility alone. If this war succeeds, he's going to take the glory alone. If it fails, he is going to be failing alone. I mean, Israel, they don't care. Israel does not care. Israel does not care how this war turned. Their objective was to attack Iran. I don't think anybody planned for how this war was going to happen. I think Donald Trump himself seemed, or his administration seemed surprised why Iran was still fighting. I mean, after saying that we've neutralized this, we've killed this, we've killed their leaders, Iran is still fighting.
Right.
And they are surprised why it's happening. All of them are surprised why this thing is still happening. And they are either at the end of the day, they are going to blame the United Kingdom. They are going to blame their allies. They are going to blame NATO, like Trump has just been doing. They're also beginning to blame the press. That the press is not is partial in how they've chosen to cover the Iran war. I mean, you can't pretend. I think it's just like a camera. It produces what it sees. I think for me, that is what the press has. It doesn't matter that is Donald Trump.
Right.
The press has decided, for whatever reason, or maybe because it's Donald Trump, the press has decided to be a little honest with themselves. So they are holding Donald Trump accountable. They are holding the administration accountable. They will not let them go. I remember the press holding him to account on the 100 and something children that they dropped bombs on in Iraq. They are not going to let Trump go. They are questioning Trump. Did you not know that Iran had the capacity to close the Strait of Hormuz? When you were planning your war, did you not anticipate that Iran had the capacity to do that? Did you not anticipate that if they do that, they are going to take away a large quantity of oil from the global market? Did you not anticipate the price hikes? Did you not anticipate Iran's capability? I think when you underestimate your opponent, you fail to study the opponent, right? You fail to study the opponent, and because you fail to study your opponent, it is very likely that your plans are not going to go the way you think. Because they did not study Iran properly. They did not study how many missiles they had. They did not understand their drone capacity. They did not understand their ability to close the Strait of Hormuz. They understood nothing about Iran. They did not even understand that killing all the top leaders, the ayatollahs and the military, that it was not going to change anything. For some reason, they did not factor that out in their plan. Now they are stuck with a war that they cannot really say they won. Donald Trump can say they are winning 20 times, 30 times. The facts on the ground makes it hard to really say America is winning the war. What does it mean to win the war? I think that's a very important question to say. Again, Iran does not need to win. Iran needs to survive. That is all Iran needs to do. Iran needs to survive the campaign. That's all. Now, how does Donald Trump and his administration pull out of this war? How do they pull out of this war when there's no clear victory? I think that is where we are clearly going to have an issue. It's not the media. The facts on the ground are very clear. Missile defense system porous, not working. Iran is still hitting Israel every day. The missile defense system in Saudi Arabia not working. Iran is still hitting Saudi Arabia. There are drones flying into United Arab Emirates. There are drones attacking Kuwait. Yes, you can shoot a few, but it's demonstrated that the iron dome, whatever they call that, is plastic. Now it's because it's porous. It's never been this porous. It is the very first time that you have, again, we don't even know how many people have died in Israel because they would not release those figures. We don't even know really clearly how many people have been injured because they will not release those figures, right? So at this point, we're going by face value. And yes, Iran might be taking a serious hit. They're getting a serious pounding. There's no lie about that. But again, the attackers cannot claim that they are winning because they are not winning. Again, talk about the effect on the energy market. America cannot say they are winning when the price of fuel is. I mean, I went by a gas station today. It's $1.55. $1.55. That's the highest it's been for a long time.
Canada is not involved.
And Canada is not even involved. So it really does not matter. So Donald Trump went out and carried, like we say in Africa, you go out and you carry a firewood with soldier ants on them. That is what America did. It's affecting everyone. Canada, it doesn't matter. Canada, Europe, the worst is going to be Europe. To the point where Donald Trump is issuing licenses for countries to buy sanctioned Russian oil. Remember when Russian oil was a taboo a few months ago, where you couldn't even talk about? I mean, those who were buying it were only buying it in hiding. Now they are giving them license to buy Russian oil. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine how much money Russia is going to make before this thing is done? Mm-hmm. Russia is selling billions in oils a day, billions in oil a day. Talk less of fertilizers, because there's a lot of fertilizer traffic that goes to Russia. Is in the business. Russia is going to make a windfall before this war ends. And Russia and China, Russia is going to be the winner at the end of the day. Russia is going to be the winner at the end of the day. Again, talking about the Strait of Hormuz, Ghana, before I end, talk too much. Iran is claiming that the Strait of Hormuz isn't closed. Yesterday, a Pakistani ship passed through got authorization from Iran to go through the Strait of Hormuz. Indian ships are going through, Chinese ships are going through, Russian ships are going through. And Iran has made it very clear. American and Israel and ships from Israel who carry the Israel, they are not going through. But any other country that wants to go through the Strait of Hormuz can make a request directly to Iran. Iran controls the strait. That is a fact. So if you want your ships to go through, you negotiate, make a deal with Iran, and have your ships go through. Again, like I said, yesterday Pakistani ships were going through the strait, right? Chinese ships are going through. So it's not like it's closed. It's close to the United States and to Israel. That's it. Anyone else can, and I believe very strongly that that's why the other states are not willing to get involved. They don't want to force this. They don't want to force it. I heard Donald Trump saying the other day, we don't even know if it's the Strait of Hormuz is mine. We are not sure how. But again, who is willing to go try? These are aircraft carriers, expensive, 30 billion and more. Do you want to use 30 billion for an experiment? Nobody wants that. That's why their ships are hiding far from the arena of war. You think the United Kingdom wants to bring their ships so that Iran can sink them? No, they don't want that. So at the end of the day, this fight is Trump's fight. He is going to fight it alone. If he wins, good for him. If he loses, he is going to take the humiliation and the shame on alone.